Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be welcoming the lead singer for such an underrated 80s new wave band, garage rock new wave band, and I am talking about Peter Zaremba, the lead singer of the Fleshtones. They are such an underrated band that came from New York during the days of CBGB, and they used to play with all the great punk and new wave bands during that scene back in the mid to late 70s. And I'm having him on today to talk about his journey and his career in music. They did that great song, American Beat. I love that song. It's such a catchy little tune. I love it. And I'm going to talk about, they were in the concert movie Urge of Music War, which is kind of the punk new wave Woodstock. And he used to host the MTV show The Cutting Edge. And he also, they also did the theme song to the horror movie I Was a Teenage Zombie. And it's going to be great to have him on the show today. Also, I'd like to say tomorrow is my 37th birthday. I'm going through somewhat of a midlife crisis, but I will get through it. I will get through it, even in this time of the clusterfuck pandemic. So yeah, here is my interview with Peter Zaremba. Hey, Peter.
Bobby, how you doing?
I am great. How are you, sir?
Great. Great. Happy to talk to you. Where are you, Tommy?
I'm in Redding, California.
All right, up in Redding. Okay, very nice. Very nice up there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think that along the highway, not quite ready. Was it Willow something? There's a really nice restaurant, like a diner that's attached to a place where they auction cattle.
Probably, yeah, because we are known for having really good steaks and what have you.
Yeah, it's a nice place. Whenever
Hello?
Northwest, from doing shows, let's say, in Northern California, we always stop at this place. It's not far from Redding. I should have looked up the name before I called you, so I could say, hey.
Yeah.
Like branding irons on the walls and stuff like that. Cattle auction places, the arena, it's like a little arena attached to the restaurant. So,
yeah.
Anyway, what can I do for you?
Well, this is such a great honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
Hey, for you, Tommy, anything. Okay.
Thank you so much,
I
sir.
don't know if if you get the band up to ready to play, I don't know. You might have to watch us pass by on the interstate or something, or meet us for lunch.
Yeah,
something like that. On the steak.
Well, we can only hope for the best, especially after this pandemic.
This is the year that it was. Because we had all sorts of stuff planned for starting. Basically, we had stuff planned in February and March.
Mm-hmm.
We had the release of our album was slated for early March, and all of that just gets we keep booking dates in the hopes that we'll be able to get out and play, but naturally we keep getting canceled as the dates get pushed further and further into the future. But I am hoping I'm hoping that venues can survive this. I don't know how long they can remain shuttered.
Yeah, it's insane. All we can do is hope for the best, though.
Yes, all we can do is hope.
Mm-hmm.
But our new situation is that our album, Place of the Screaming Werewolf, come out on Halloween of 2020, not 2021 or 2022. So the album's coming out then, and we have a digital single coming off the album in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah, so we got something happening, and we're practicing individually, of course. The band is scattered, Keith, our guitarist, he lives in Stockholm these days because he has a girlfriend there, and he'd rather be with the one he loves. So he's living in Stockholm. I'm with my family, and right now we're in Lakeville, Connecticut, which is a very quiet corner of the state. Bill Millhiser lives in Troy, New York, which you might know as the home of Uncle Sam. And our bass player, Ken Fox, lives in Beacon, New York, which is about halfway between Troy and New York City on the Hudson River. So we're all raring to go. Like it is a word, So, what do you need to know?
Okay, so I have a very linear structure. I'd like to go way back in time. At what age?
Dinosaurs.
What's that?
Way back. Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. No, you guys are obviously not extinct because you're still playing.
Oh, totally. That's the good thing about us. Not only are we still playing, but we've been releasing records the whole time. They're good records too. So that's all good. Anyway, ask away.
At what age did you start gravitating towards music?
My earliest,
Yeah.
My earliest, when I was little, the radio was always on in our house, and so, I'm talking about, infancy. The radio was always on, and at that point, that was when rock and roll started being played on the radio. You know what I'm saying? You had your Patty Page and stuff like that. Then, things like Elvis started being played on the radio. And I don't remember hearing him on the radio much as an infant, but what I do remember was all of a sudden, all the cartoons I was watching on TV all had references to hound dogs, That was like the biggest, funniest thing for them. Oh, it's a hound dog. He's got a guitar, blah, blah, blah. And it was all, even as a 2-year-old, it struck me as really stupid. But, we were listening to music on the radio, and, the Beatles and all that Beatlemania and the British invasion, and then I discovered FM radio in 1968, and totally, turned me into a total music person, buying albums and stuff like that. And, I guess I secretly always wanted to be in a band. I never felt I could.
Yeah.
But you know what? To cut to the quick, seeing the Ramones, in 1975, said, okay, we can do this. And, my friend Keith Strang, who had been in a bunch of other bands, we just got together and said, we can do this. Let's just do it. And we did it. And within months, we were at CBGB's ourselves playing. So, and Max's.
Wow.
That's how it happened. And I've only been really in one group my whole life, and that's the Fleshtones. I've done some other things here and there. Basically, I started in the Fleshtones. That was, I learned how to play harmonica and stuff like that because I was, into the Yardbirds and the Stones and all that. But I didn't think I could really do much with that. But then we formed the band, and the band has been together ever since. And the band that started in early 1976.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's been my musical experience.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds that's kind of a weird musical experience, but I love the band and I love performing with them.
Mm-hmm.
There's enough people around the world that love us and love what we do that it makes it satisfying enough to keep doing it. I can't see any point in stopping. We enjoy it so much.
Yeah. Do you remember the first album you ever bought?
Oh, sure. The first album I ever bought with my own money was The Best of the Animals.
Oh, wow.
And I believe I bought it at Klein's department store in downtown Flushing.
Mm-hmm.
And the second album I ever bought probably was Our Experience.
The Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Yeah.
Maybe the third album I ever bought was Where You Live Like Heaven by Donovan.
Huh. Those are good ones.
And around that point, my sister, for my birthday, when I turned teenager, gave me High Tide and Green Grass.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't seeing that the Stones at that point. And Steppenwolf's second album, which I really liked at that point. I was a Steppenwolf fan.
Yeah, one of the first concerts I ever saw was Steppenwolf.
Oh, right. There you go. Bring on Canadians.
Yeah.
Oshawa, Ontario.
Yeah. Do you remember your first
That's where Mars on Fire was from. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Do you remember the first concert you attended?
Yeah, my sister brought me to see the Young Rascals. I wasn't much of a Young Rascals fan, but she took me to see them. After that, I know I had seen a few bands play, but me and my friends had it in our heads we wanted to go to the Fillmore East to see Mothers of Invention. So that might have been one of the first, things. My buddies and me going to get tickets to see the Mothers at the Fillmore, who were very highly disappointed. They're really snotty and Zappos were preposterous. It was like a big goof on the audience. They just basically rolled it out on the stage and tuned up. And then at the end, Zappa made some pronouncement like, well, okay, we'll play something that you can understand. And they played the worst version of Louie Louie they'd ever heard. And I've come to believe that that's not right. Because Louie Louie is a song that you should actually respect,
Yeah.
There's so many great versions of it,
Oh, yeah, the Kinks did one. Oh, man. There's a lot of good ones.
The Sonics did an amazing version, the Polish Generators, and of course the Kings. You have to top that. That's just like, magic, absolute magic. I would love to someday do a recording half as magical, but I'll keep trying.
Yeah. What bands or musicians overall influenced you?
Oh, you could probably guess,
I have guessed a couple.
All the British invasion stuff. But then, a lot of odd records, because basically I learned from the radio. So, certain things that I hear would stick with me, So, Gary U.S. Bonds, things that sounded like that. There's certain soul records, a lot of soul records because that was being heard on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
A certain amount of Motown. And then later on, pop stuff like Roxy music.
Oh, yeah.
Because more or less enough of it sounded like rock and roll, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Performers like, of course, not the Stooges or the MC5, but also Jonathan Richman.
Oh, yeah. Love him.
A huge influence on the way I thought about being on stage, you know?
Yeah.
His personable quality, you know, his being, being a human being on stage, you know?
Yeah.
Other than just some obvious performer. Who else? Sun Ra was a huge influence on the way I thought about what we see when we see a band, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Who else? A lot of stuff like that. And then, to top it off, Ramones. You know?
Yeah.
I can never say enough wonderful things about the Ramones.
They are the best.
Ramones, they are, yeah, and they did it all, and they showed everybody the way. And, without the Ramones, you'd have no Sex Pistols and no Clash, you know. You wouldn't even have the Fleshtones, or maybe you would have had the Fleshtones eventually, because we were stumbling around in the dark before them, trying to put together bands. Maybe eventually we would have gotten people to play the music we wanted to play, but maybe not, you know. So what really, again, the catalyst for what we did was seeing the Ramones at CBGBs.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Wow. Yeah. Was there any Velvet Underground influence?
Oh, totally. Yeah. You see it again. The primitive, the simplicity, yet the edge, the edginess.
Mm-hmm.
But he was so rooted, Lou, in all of the avant-garde qualities. He was totally rooted in brill building, kind of hack rock and roll. That had to work, That
Mm-hmm.
work is you could dance to, even if it was like a long jam, a drug-induced frenzy of some sort. You were still dancing, and dancing meant that you were participating and reacting to the music. So Lou, yeah, Lou and the Velvet for sure. The primitive beat,
Yep.
definitely. Plus your marketing experience. Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs, all of the Mexican-American rock and rollers,
Yeah. Wooly Bully.
big time. And beyond, yeah.
Yeah, Little Red Riding Hood.
Rhythmic, simple music, self-conscious, great
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
How did you guys come up with the name The Fleshtones?
Oh, unfortunately, it's an artsy kind of a thing. Before the band even existed, my roommate and I at art school were up late one night and kind of just riffing on the idea of making up names for bands that didn't really exist. And one of the names that we made up that night was the Fleshtones, and it's kind of like, at that point, no one was using that form of name anymore. Just before, fuzz tones and whatever undertones, and no one had used that type of name since the 50s, so it was very archaic.
Mm-hmm.
And being at art school, we came up with the idea of flesh tones, like a crayon or something,
Yeah.
or that that the tones of the music is real and fleshy or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
And so that we had that name already, so that when I got together with Keith and Marek in Keith's basement, we already had the name. So yeah, we're the Fleshtones. Okay, that's our name.
Yeah, that's.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good name. Really.
Yes, I know. I look back at there were other names that maybe would have been better, but that's our name. So, you know.
Yeah.
I kind of think it's like saying, well, the Beatles. That's kind of a dopey name, really. But like the Beatles, you know.
Yeah.
So, okay. You know. Anyway, after a while, it no longer means like a bug, you know, or a bug that has the beat. Like the way they were making fun of the Beatles in the beginning, you know, the beetle bugs, the potato bugs, blah, 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 you know. The Beatles becomes the Beatles, the band, you know?
Right.
We're the Fleshtones. You know, it's not like we are what that, we are the definition of Fleshtones.
Mm-hmm.
Us as a group, not that there's Flesh or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm. You guys played CBGB and Max's. New York in those days was pretty seedy and dangerous, right?
Yes, it was. It was, I mean, you know, it added an edge of excitement to the thing, but also the danger was real. I remember one night on the way to CBGB's, I broke my own rule and decided, okay, I'm going to take the shortcut through Union Square, which was kind of it's like a block square park. And sure enough, I got halfway in there, and two guys have a knife at my throat, you know, and robbed me, stole my father had just, my mother had given me a crucifix, they stole that, they stole my watch, and then, so I wouldn't be too fleet-footed running after them. They stole my shoes. But somehow I still wound up going to CDGs that night. Mm-hmm. So, but, it was not, you know, it was not cool, you know, by any means. You know, it was like, you know, the wrecked cars on the street and piles of garbage and, you know, it was a mess. It was, you know, but I guess it was the type of mess that kept.
Mm-hmm.
Musician types. You know, if you get like a really part-time job, let's say, let's just talk to Miriam Winner.
Yeah.
Norton Records and the Cramps and whatnot. You know, she used to work at the Strand Books shop, you know. So everyone worked at the Strand Book shop. And, you know, you can work like a couple of afternoons a week and get enough money to pay your rent and, you know, eat at the crummy restaurants that existed and, you know, and buy yourself your more food and get by, you know.
Yeah.
Drink at CGDs and everything. I had a part-time job, you know, several.
Mm-hmm.
You just get by, you know. Professional people did not want to live downtown, and so they did not. So there was a lot of vacancies and stuff. So, you know, artists and musicians could flourish, really, you know.
Mm-hmm. And who were the... Mm-hmm. And who were some of the other acts that were there at that time, besides the Ramones?
Oh, gosh, you know, the Ramones, and there was spin-offs of the Dolls, you know, like Johnny Thunders.
Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers, yeah.
The Heartbreakers, I remember the debut of the Heartbreakers, you know, because it was, you know,
yeah.
Like, okay, it's like the real, whatever, suicide. Television.
The Plasmatics.
Talking Heads when they were a three-piece.
Yeah.
You know, and so more of a rock band, you know?
Yeah.
They were great. They were absolutely great. Patti Smith was floating around.
Wendy O. Williams and the Plasmatics, were they there?
Yeah, sure. Everyone was on the scene, you know.
Yeah.
Winterville, very not understood at that point, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of the real inheritors of the type of music that inspired Lou Reed, you know, like the New York soulful New York, you know, rock and roll, grill moving kind of stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Very punky in the sense of like street, you know, the New York street kids, but not understood by the artsy punks, really, you know. It was like the Mumps, you know, so it's like, there were like so many great bands. Then, you know, the Cramps came on the scene.
Yep.
And right after that, when the Fleshtones finally signed with Red Stone Records, you know, I went up to Boston with Miriam and just discovered that the whole Boston scene, which was much more rock and roll, you know, not arty at all, like real driving rock and roll, you know, and the kids were dancing in the clubs. And I thought I went to rock and roll heaven. And we became very good friends with guys like the Real Kids and DMZ and, you know, all Boston bands.
Mm-hmm.
Big inspiration there too, you know, for us.
Yeah.
You know, they helped us, steered us away from the artsiness and much more towards like rhythm, you know, rhythm and rock. And that was really the Boston influence on us, right? You know, meeting and playing with guys like the Real Kids and DMZ.
Yeah. Were the Cramps as bizarre off stage as they were on stage?
Oh, probably more so. They were very cultish, you know.
Yeah.
I became very good friends with Miriam. Keith was pretty good friends with Lux and Ivy, and we shared a rehearsal place with them, like a crypt on the valley, like a stone sub basement, and we're that friendly with them, but they were very cultish, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, you know, they kind of told Miriam she had to either just believe in the Cramps or leave the Cramps, you know. And Miriam was just too big a fan of the band. She was doing a fanzine for the Flaming Groovy. She was doing a fanzine for the Dictators. Oh, I forgot to mention the Dictators. What a huge influence there, and from my hometown too. Before all this, you know.
Yeah.
But, so, you know, the Cramps kind of told me, look, you know, either you give up, you know, hanging with all these other bands, or you have to leave the Cramps. So if you did leave the Cramps, and then, you know, they got Nick back into the band. I think they've been in the band anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The odd thing is that Fleshtones were the band that got kicked out of the rehearsal spot for making too much noise. Cramps were actually very quiet. We were the ones that the landlord threw out for making too much noise too late at night.
Yeah.
And within a week of us taking our equipment out of the sub basement, it flooded.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It was in a sub basement. And all those buildings were built on what, in the late 18th century, had a pond. And so it was subject to subterranean flooding.
Wow.
Anyhow.
Yeah, when I was growing up in San Francisco, the Cramps would do a Halloween show every Halloween, and I made a couple attempts to go towards the end, and I never got to go. I heard that they were sensational.
They were sensational. They were wonderful, and the Crash are another group that really helped. You know, once people realized that all of their songs were really covers, it really directed people towards that kind of music and listening to those type of records. And that they did a big service. And again, they kept it simple too, which was nice. You know, it was again always rhythmic, pounding. You know, primitive, moronic even. You know, that's all good. Iggy, there you go.
Oh yeah, Iggy Pop and the Stooges.
A few years ago, I was talking. You know, I was did a stint as an assistant engineer in the studio, and I was talking to some guy who had been working with Iggy on some stuff at the same studio. And he said, well, you know, Iggy doesn't show up. He just calls when we're doing the mixes, and he asks, all I want to know is it juvenile? You know? And juvenile meaning that's what he wants.
Yeah.
And you know, so yeah, let's get juvenile too.
Yeah, I interviewed a character actress named Lisa Jane Persky, and in those days she was a still photographer at CBGB, and she was going out with Gary Valentine from Blondie, and she said it was just...
I didn't mention the Blondie. They were a huge help to us and a huge influence, you know?
Yeah.
A huge help to us in the beginning. Gary Valentine, going to see Blondie when Gary was still in the band, and Chris was the only guitarist, so he had to play. And, you know, Jimmy Destry, wonderful, you know, playing like this archaic Farfisa. Not a bunch of synthesizers or anything. It's like nobody was playing a Farfisa, you know?
Yeah.
He was up there playing it. They were quite wonderful.
Yeah.
We saw them many times at CDGs.
Yeah, that was their home club. And yeah, she told me that that whole scene was just magical in those days, you know, and it's gone forever now. But
it is. You know, it's like sort of saying, "Oh, you should have been in Paris in the 1920s," you know, or whatever, or you know, wherever it was. You should have been in Liverpool in 1963, or you know. Something tells me that, in a certain way, that being in CBGBs in 1976 was more fun than being in Liverpool at any point. But again, you see the Beatles at the Cabin Club with the Rockenberries or whoever else, and the Undertakers and all that stuff must have been real lighting.
yeah. What's the genesis?
You're from San Francisco. I'm going to interrupt you.
Oh, good.
You're from San Francisco.
Yeah.
Did you ever manage to see us playing in San Francisco? By any chance?
No, I think I saw you guys advertised one time when I was a kid, and I wanted my dad to take me, but I guess for whatever reason we didn't go, and we used to go to concerts.
What a shame.
Yeah.
What a shame. I'm sure that might have been at the I-Beam or something.
Probably.
Those were all great shows. They were all super high, bizarre, you know, happenings. They were happening, those shows.
Yeah.
We still get to San Francisco once in a while. I was playing in San Francisco. We'll have to see. You know, when things come, you have to see our band because we're. I don't know how to put it.
I'm sure you guys are a great live band.
Play songs. You know, we're quite organic in what we do, and
yeah.
There's a lot of energy involved, but more than the energy, it's we do stuff. You know, what can I say? We do stuff other than just play our song.
Yeah, well, how I discovered you guys, when I was like 12, I rented this VHS tape. It was music videos of all the bands who were on the IRS label, and you guys were on there. I think it was American Beat.
Oh, yeah.
and I thought you guys were just so unique and sounded different from everyone else, which brings me to my point that, when Miles Copeland, signed you guys to IRS, he was a guy who had a flair for signing bands that were so unique and different and didn't sound like anything that was on top 40 radio at that time.
Totally.
Totally. There was
Miles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Miles really. He was that was his ear.
Yeah.
He liked stuff that was even way too bizarre for me to like. He signed Jimmy Skatefish and all that stuff. He signed us. He saw in us, what could be. He signed the Cramps.
Yeah. They were on that tape.
Yeah. Miles was great. And being on IRS was great too, because that was basically, we all wanted to be on Sire record.
Yeah.
To begin with, But
yeah.
Sire passed on us. I kept the letter for a long time. But, I eventually threw all that stuff away. I wish I hadn't.
Mm-hmm.
They passed on us. Even Bob passed on us. So, thank God for IRS, because they didn't. And, they tolerated us as long as they possibly could. They were good. Actually, there's a movie coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Such things happen. We Were Rebels then, or When We Were Rebels, or something like that. The IRS story. So us Copeland and IRS Records. But look out for that.
Okay.
I only hope that there will be movie theaters when this is all over. A lot of them are going to be in trouble.
Mm-hmm. I know. I'm so sad about that, but I think some will survive. And
I hope so. I like the idea of movies.
Mm-hmm. Me too. That's what this show is, but I also talk to musicians as well. But speaking of movies, you guys got to be in Urge a Music War.
That was the first thing that Miles spoke to us about.
Mm-hmm.
First came to us, he said, look, I'm making this movie. It's going to be unlike any other movie, because it's just going to be bands playing songs.
Yeah.
And we said, gee, that might be interesting. So the first thing he did was he wanted us to be in Urge. And then after that, he said, I'm forming a label too.
Mm-hmm.
And we said yes to all of that. Although I have to say, at the time, we were kind of a little bummed out, because he goes, okay, I'm going to film a bunch of bands at CBGB's, and I want you to film me there.
Mm-hmm.
And we were kind of saying, look, we kind of no longer play at CBGB's, because we realized that the type of music we were playing, we needed to have an open space so that kids could dance. If they wanted to dance to the music, they were going to dance. You couldn't do that at CBGB's, really. Yeah. So we had discovered a few alternative places to play, one of which was called Club 57, which wound up being very, very famous. But we were one of the bands that started it. And so we said, well, why can't you film us there? Because you're going to get, the great atmosphere of, the kids dancing, and you should bring some of the other bands there, too. But we weren't, directing the movie, so, we wound up being at CGP's, and I was a little unhappy during the performance. I remember that.
Did you wish you were at the Whiskey or wherever they played a lot of the concerts at?
Oh, I wish that we were being filmed at the Club 57.
Oh.
A little tiny church basement with, packed with sweating, dancing kids. It would have looked like, watching the Sonics in 1962 or something. But it was real. It was great,
Yeah. You mentioned before about Jonathan Richman, the Modern Lovers. When I hear American Beat, I hear a lot of influence of the song Roadrunner.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah,
Uh,
with that guitar riff and that organ, you know, I mean, of course the horns are all you guys, but just everything else reminds me of it.
oh, good. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was nice because much later on, when I was doing the Cutting Edge show for IRS,
Mm-hmm.
we got to hang out with Jonathan a few times, you know, and film him for the show. And, you know, and he was great. You know, he was like, oh, yeah, what do you want me to do? I'll stand here. And we went to, it wasn't the whiskey, we went to some small club that had a little stage. And it was, you know, during the day. And he just stood up there and performed for us, you know. What do you want, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he's a great guy, you know, and great, again, you know, just being so human, you know, and speaking to the audience like human beings, you know, like not just as a, you know, as a blob, you know, and that had a profound influence on me. Lee Davies too, even though I eventually realized that it was a bit of a shtick on his part. His personableness on stage and willingness, the band's willingness to be very, very sloppy, you know, still go for it, was a big influence on us, you know, like being very crude in their playing, you know.
Yeah, he's one of the greatest songwriters of all time, I think.
One of the greats, yeah, one of the greats. You know, wonderful songwriter for a period there to have written, like, just what he was, let's say, 1964 and 68 or 69. To have done that, you know, just it makes him an immortal, you know, totally, just, you know.
Yeah. When you guys look back on Roman Gods and Hexbreaker, what do you think about those albums?
You know, at this point, it's so long ago. I think what I remember is that we were very excited in doing Roman Gods. I think we got a little bit too much involved in process doing it. You know, it should have been simpler.
Yeah.
None of us really, you know, were a little overwhelmed by the possibilities of the studio. You know, it was just too many. I think it is, in many ways, a great album. And a lot of people tell me it's a great album.
Yeah.
Hexbreaker, putting that record together, I'm still scarred by the experience of how convoluted and crazy recording that was, that I have trouble getting. But right after that, called Fleshtones versus Reality,
right.
I'm much more comfortable with, because that was one of the first ones that we had fun making, and wound up sounding kind of like what we wanted it to sound like. But the IRS, you know, the Roman Gods, yeah, enough people tell me it's a classic. So I'm happy we made a classic album.
I love Roman Gods. You know, I've got to change my life, and the world has changed. Those are my two favorites. Those songs hold up, and
thank you.
Yeah, and Hexbreaker, Screaming Skull, This House is Empty. I like those songs.
You know, thank you again. And we were trying to get to something with that Hexbreaker that we didn't quite get. I still, to this, want to re-record Screaming Skull in a very different way. You know,
you could
not just to redo it. I have a totally different take on it. You know,
yeah,
and something much more what I'd like to have done. When we have a chance,
yeah, that's a great tune.
Yeah.
How did you?
Hopefully.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. How did you get selected to host MTV's The Cutting Edge?
Okay. I enjoy this story. there was a guy that was already hosting the show named Jeffrey, and he was a very artsy, LA kind of a conceptual artsy guy. And the Fleshtones had already been on the show maybe 2 or 3 times, and had good chemistry. You know, we're kind of hammy. We enjoyed. You know, a lot of bands, you'd be surprised, were kind of put out when asked to be on the show. They're kind of like, oh man, I have to do this. I couldn't believe those attitudes, you know.
Yeah.
But we were always happy to do it. We always thought it was fun, you know. You know, we grew up watching, you know, Lloyd Axton and Clay Cole and all this stuff. You know, we were into it. So we were so animated when we were on the show that they liked us. And then this guy Jeffrey came up with a project, the host, but he wanted me to go to Fiji to study some sort of a society thing that they have there. And he was getting on for a couple of years. So they needed a new host. So the Carlos Grasso, the vice president of Iris Records, told me they were at a meeting, and they kept talking about various people that he'd get. And someone was saying, well, gee, you know, yeah, we should get this guy because, you know, he's kind of like the Zaremba guy. And then Carlos said, well, why don't you just ask Zaremba? You know? And so they called up, and I immediately said, you know, okay, look, you know, you're going to find a way to get me to California once a month. At that point, they just started this thing called People's Express, which was like $100 each way to Los Angeles. And I said, sure, yeah, I'll do this. And so I did it. And it was, on a certain level, very successful.
Do you still get recognized for it?
Yeah, all the time. Oh, yeah. I grew up watching, you know, cutting edge, you know, people said that was my introduction to, as they'll put it, real music, you know, like the real bands. You know, I saw whoever it was, you know, or I saw them on the cutting edge. You know, we were the first show to nationally, you know, televised lots and lots of bands, you know, that went on, you know, for all sorts of critical acclaim or whatever, you know, like the Los Lobos, okay, they pop into my head, you know.
Yeah.
But everybody, you know, the Hot Chili Peppers, I don't know, name anyone, you know. The first time they were studio, I don't know. The first time they were on, the replacements, you know, the first time all these bands were on national TV was on the cutting edge. So you know, I'm pretty proud of being involved with that.
Yeah, I mean, MTV was pretty good to you guys. I mean, you guys got considerable airplay, you know, even though you guys just had this, you know, this little loyal cult success.
Exactly. We did quite well with MTV, and there's a thing in Canada called Much Music that we did really with, you know. We got lots of exposure, you know.
Yep.
There's the things, which of course we kind of squandered in a way. We didn't care. I don't know. Somehow we didn't care about parlaying it into anything. You know, we were very much in the moment and enjoying what we were doing, but not, you know, not really trying to plan towards any bigger success.
I was a teenage zombie. I love that song and I love that video.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Again, you know, we should have done a lot more movie stuff. You know, we had that opportunity when we were invited to do stuff for Bachelor Party.
Oh, yeah.
It was a real IRS. That was a real IRS thing, you know.
Yeah.
And, well, we donated American Beat and the song called Hall of Fame to the soundtrack. And the director and the musical director and the producer of the movie were just like, we like American much that even though, what's his name, Danny Elfman, or whoever it was,
yeah, who
wrote us a Bachelor Party theme, we're going to call American Beat theme to Bachelor Party. And they put that on the record. Now, we were invited to the director's cut, like a screening of the movie, along with, Tom and everybody, Tom Hanks and everyone. And we were just so out of line. We had been doing I believe, a shoot for the Cutting Edge even, all that day down in Santa Monica Beach. And we showed up, we were all absolutely fried. And we thought the movie was garbage. And kind of mocking it. And then Pete fell asleep during the movie and was snoring, and Tom noticed that, and the directors. So after that, we weren't asked to do any more of that work with them, which, looking back, was, okay, we were being us.
Yeah.
And as Gordon, the late Gordon Spake, who was then in the band with us, said that the replacements were signed for all the reasons that we were dropped. Because we kind of really were what a lot of other bands should have had, like maybe a bad boy act or something. We really were kind of out of our minds. And always, it was kind of like the Marx Brothers, on and off stage, mostly off stage. So, at any rate, I'd like to be able to do more of that kind of work.
Yeah,
that's what I think, ultimately.
Yeah. You have any good stories about when you guys opened for Chuck Berry and James Brown?
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. First of all, James, very professional. Really nice. His guys in his band were nice. Crew was nice,
Yeah.
I don't think he watched us. I think he showed up, when it was time for him to do his thing, He was really nice, and, said nice things. And he was really, like I say, he was very professional. And he liked it when people around him were professional, in a good way,
Yeah.
Not like just like a hack businessman, but like respectful and whatnot. Now, Chuck, I always amaze people when I say that Chuck Berry was nice to us. The reason being that on that, we played, the time I'm really thinking of, was for the San Jordi Festival, which is the patron saint day of Barcelona. The crowd estimated anywhere between 80 to 100,000 people, outdoors, of course. Chuck was headlining. We were second, being him. We were quite popular in Spain. And Chuck was very nice to us because he wanted to borrow our tuner. People would come and say, "You mean Chuck Berry actually bothered tuning up for a show?" And he did, because very often his whole gig was kind of like he had some pickup band, anybody, some hippies or whatever, and he would just like kind of jam with them a little and make fun of them.
Yeah.
This night, his backing band was the Climax Blues Band.
Yeah.
Who knew all of his material in any key, backwards, forwards.
Yeah.
And I think he knew that. And he couldn't pull that routine,
Yeah.
He was going to have to play. And if he did the thing where he changed keys halfway through the song to fuck up the band, they were going to follow him. So he needed to tune up. So he was very nice to us, and he borrowed our tuner. He tuned up, and it was great that night, too. Now, of course, before he hit the stage, he did insist on being paid in cash. And the guy came in this huge stack of banknotes. He counted it before he went on that stage. I still remember him looking at those banknotes, counting them, and took out this greasy old wallet from his back pocket from this Banlon double mid slide greasy old wallet that made a big bulge in his back pocket. So even the last person in that 100,000 people audience could look up at that stage and see that he had a big back wallet in his back pocket on stage.
Wow. That must be the career highlight to open for those guys.
You know what? It was great, but there were so many, phenomenal shows and things. I mean, our recording our live album in Paris was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of, at this point I forget, it doesn't come to, I mean, if people remind me, then I say, oh yeah, I remember that show,
Yeah.
But there's just so many wonderful shows. Sometimes our worst shows become almost our best shows. We once did our longest performance ever. It was like 2 hours and 45. It was for basically nobody in Mobile, Alabama. Basically for the owner of the club, who pulled a chair in the middle of the floor and said, "Okay, start playing."
Mm-hmm.
And we had so much fun playing for this guy that we played everything we knew, and then a pile of things we didn't know, and just made up a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kept signaling to the waitresses to bring us trays of drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So Mobile, Alabama.
Wow. So the new album, what's it going to be called?
The new album is entitled Face of the Screaming Werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
And it will include a free Screaming Werewolf mask to ward off evil for anyone who buys the limited edition.
That's cool.
Purple vinyl copy. And it should be out by Halloween. I mean, it should have been out last Halloween. Okay? But, this is the year that wasn't.
Yeah.
So, everyone stay healthy, stay safe, and definitely get this out.
Yeah.
As Little Steven himself said, he heard it, said, "Guys, this is the best album you ever recorded."
And how do you feel, too, about... Oh, sorry.
He knows all our records, too, like Roman Gods and stuff. So.
Yeah. How do you feel, though, with the whole download music thing and the diminish of record stores?
You know what? Not good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I grew up, a kid going to record stores, and they're going through the bins and finding obscure things and enjoying that. But, that said, you can't progress, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because once you discover easier ways of doing things, that's what people are going to do,
Mm-hmm.
So, people can say, oh, it was so much better when there was only silent movies,
Yeah.
or something, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But whereas, in silent movies, there was so much more artistry and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but as soon as people went to a theater and could hear people walking, no one wanted to see a silent movie, The people spoke with, by going to, paying to see the talkies. And it's the same thing, it's like, radio was so much better than TV, because you use your imagination. Yeah, but as soon as people saw TVs, they want the TVs,
Yeah.
It definitely all this download stuff and everything is really not great,
Yeah. It's not the same.
Not great, and the more things become digital, it's impossible to make any money.
Of course.
These downloads are like, 1/200th of a thousandth of a cent or whatever,
Yeah.
But then, I guess it's easier. It's great in the sense that it's so easy to spread music, and that is the good part.
Yeah.
It's so easy to find music. I used to have to search and look, and it would be like some of these records were like holy grails. Like, we want to find Quest of Travolta by the Yardbirds. Oh, if I can only find that record, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually I heard it, and it sucked. Nowadays, if you want to know, some kids, Travolta, you know, you go on YouTube, you see, oh yeah, that's not that good. You know, like you find it out right away. You don't spend like 6 years looking for the record, you know. And then luckily, before I bought it and spent like a lot of money in those days, I heard it. Said, "Oh, this record's no good."
Yeah.
So that's the positive side, right? People can hear things. People can hear all sorts of stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I went through the romance of searching for records and things like that. And quite frankly, a musician or people who put out records, songwriters, made more money then, you know,
Mm-hmm.
than now. Now, you royalty checks for like 7 cents.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Oh, Van Halen's first. Yeah, Van Halen's
in order
first.
to survive,
Yeah.
you're breaking up on it.
Sorry.
So anyhow, what else?
I was just gonna say Van Halen's first album sells 6 million copies, and David Lee Roth gets 10 cents out of each copy. That's
Well,
like,
you know what?
yeah,
That 10 cents adds up. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Whereas now, you'd be getting like point, point 0.0000.2%. You know,
yeah.
it's like it adds up. Eventually, it adds up to like, oh, you're going to check this 30 cents. You know, so it's a lot harder for a musician to make a living of any sort now. You know.
Yeah.
Because you get much less money. But on the other hand, it's a lot easier for people to make music now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not right now. Right now, it's impossible to go out and play and stuff.
Yeah. But recording is easier.
That changes.
Yeah.
I hope that we get back to being able to play and that there are venues to play at. Because, again, I don't know how long the places can hold their breath before, you know, because they have their bills to pay and there's no income. So, that's not a good thing.
No.
I think the proliferation of places to play is a positive thing. You know, you can choose what music you want to hear or not hear.
Mm-hmm.
But to have venues, you know, where you can hear live music is a great thing. You know, as opposed to just, downloading stuff. You know, hopefully, downloading music is an encouragement for people to actually see music. You know, because then, you're not just looking at something; you are participating by being somewhere. You know,
Right.
it is an experience, and that, to me, that's a wonderful thing. That's 90% of why I do what I do. You know, it's like be there to experience things, to meet people, to commune with other people over music that you love or hate or whatever. But those are all great things.
Mm-hmm. Very well said, Peter. And I want to thank you for coming on today.
Listen, this is what I want. I want to thank you because people like you, keeping things going, people interested, keeping people informed. Basically a handful of people interested in music, movies, and rock and roll and whatnot would be nothing. So, it's guys like you. So I always say thank you, and I'm always flattered, because I grew up as a fan. I didn't grow up as a musician.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan myself, so I always relate to that. Okay?
Absolutely.
You got my contact. Send me a link so that we get this together. I want to make sure it gets posted on the band's page, on the Redbox page, and maybe we didn't say enough about Little Steven and the Underground Garage, which I DJ for now.
Oh, give a little plug to them, yeah.
I got to because it's one of the greatest things. Saturday Eastern Midnight, which is like the 9 o'clock, decent hour, Saturday nights.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, Channel 20, Sirius XM. Or however you, I think now you have an app that you can listen to. Little Steven's Underground Garage,
Mm-hmm.
Maximum Rock and Roll, 24/7. And I'm the Psychedelic Count. So please join me in the crypt. And final Friday of every month at 11 p.m. Eastern, which would be 8 o'clock your time, final Friday,
Mm-hmm.
I do a 1 hour special, Fright Night with the Count. So, which is like an hour of very creepy rock and roll.
Nice.
The next one, yeah, it is nice, man. You got to listen to Fright Night.
Okay.
It's a blast. Final Friday of every month. But I'm on your time, 11, 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Time, every Saturday. Okay. Join me in my cool crypt, please.
I will. I'll check them out, I promise.
Okay. And I hope to see you either in Maine or if you come down to San Francisco when we make it back, okay?
Okay.
I'm willing soon.
Okay. You have yourself a great day over there, sir.
You too. I'm going to go outside and take the weeds out of the lawn. It's very therapeutic. And I come up with my greatest song on here is Mowing the Lawn. So, let's see it.
Okay.
All right, Tommy. See you.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Peter Zaremba. Ain't he a cool dude? Oh, nice guy, passionate about music, very humble guy. I really like him. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, add me as a friend on Facebook, join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.